guys, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. Are you ready for some more fabulous 2021 craft room organization ideas? Stay tuned. So in a recent video, we made this super cute 12 by 12 paper holder. Absolutely fabulous. Today, we're going to make another paper holder, but this time we're going to make it so that it will hold our 6 by 6 paper pads. Super easy, same process, just different dimensions. So I am going to show you exactly what I am talking about. Isn't this super cute? Just like its big sister, but it's just small. And it is meant to hold our 6 by 6 paper pads. So I'm going to grab a couple of 6 by 6s. I don't have very many 6 by 6 paper pads because I normally deal with the larger size papers, but I do have a few and they're actually pretty old. But here is how it looks when we put it in our 6 by 6 storage box. Makes it so easy to keep track of what we have, because not only are you creating something absolutely adorable and oh so stinking cute for your craft room, but you're also customizing and turning your craft space into what you need it to be. So this is what we're going to make today. So y'all, let's get started. All right, guys, so here is what we need to make our project. Now I am using foam board because I had a lot of leftover pieces, so we're going to use that on this project. But if you don't have foam board, you can use chipboard, or you can multi-stack cereal boxes. And if you're going to stack anything with the consistency of a cereal box, I would probably stack 4 so that you can get a good firm consistency for your project. So here is what we need. I have a piece that measures 4 3/8 by 3. I have 2 pieces that measure 4 by 6.5. I have 1 piece that measures 6 3/4 by 4 3/8. And I have 2 pieces that measure 6.5 by 6.5. And then I am just going to be using the rolled paper from yesterday. And if you don't have rolled paper on this project and you want to join pieces to make the project, you should start with 2 pieces of 12 by 12 for the outside. So the first thing that we want to do, guys, is we want to take our 6.5 by 6.5 inch pieces, and we are going to use a ruler to make our mark. So I'm placing my ruler along the side, and I'm going to make a mark at 2 1/4. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler, place it on my mark, and just move it up to that corner. Then I'll take my finger blade and I'm just going to trim. And I'll trim this out. And you're going to end up with a piece that looks like this. Now you can take this piece on your second piece, and I am just going to use it as my guide. Get a little line started. So now that I have both pieces cut, I'll bring in my piece that measures 4 by 6.5, and this is how we'll place them down. So I am going to go ahead and just place my tape on this back. And then we will use our rolled paper to get this stuck. Okay, so I am going to bring in my roll paper. And one of you suggested that I just clip it to my mat, which I think is a very good idea to keep it under control on one end. So that's what I've done. I've clipped it right there. And now that'll make it very easy for me to lay my pieces out. So I am going to bring in my pieces and make sure I put them down in the right order, because I am notorious for laying these down the wrong way. So this is how we're going to put this down. So I am going to remove my tape. And then we'll lay our first piece down. And just like we did on yesterday, so we want to make sure that when we're placing it down, we place it down so that we leave a border here because that becomes the glue flap. So I'll place that one piece, place my middle piece, and it's the same process, y'all. We're just doing the same thing, and that's the best way to learn how to make anything is repetition. So when I'm placing this down, I'm placing it down, giving myself space that will cover the thickness of this. So we have that placed. Now I'll place my final side piece. So I'm going to take this piece, place it right there. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to trim out, and I'm basically just following the shape of how I laid down my pieces. Trim away just a little bit on the ends. And so now we're just going to take this and do exactly like we did yesterday. We're going to fold this over, following that shape all the way around. So we're doing it just like this. And now at the bottom, in between these two pieces, I am going to cut a V or a triangle, whatever you want to call it. And that's just going to make it easier for me to fold and place this down. And so now I just want to place some tape. And I'm just going to place my tape right there. And then I'll place a piece of tape right here. So guys, before we go any further in our project, I forgot to miter these edges right here. So I am just going to do that right now. So I'll just miter on these little edges right here. And I had already started to fold over the top. So just like we did yesterday, we are going to take the top and fold it over, and then we'll take our finger and we're going to go in between the spine, get it stuck, and then we'll take our finger again and just smooth out those little humps that are created right here. Now, once we have those smoothed down, we can take our finger and then we're just going to wrap this over just like we would be wrapping a gift. And then we can take that edge and wrap it over. And so we'll do the same thing over here. We're just going to pull that, wrap it over, and get it stuck. And then we can take this piece, wrap over that end, and get that nice and stuck. And so now all I'm going to do is just take my big old spatula, go along those edges to get everything nice and smooth looking. And so here is what we have now. This time I'm going to do something just a little bit different on how we're going to figure out the inside, because I'm going to use polka dotted paper on the inside. So I am going to bring in some of my scrap polka dotted paper and my project piece. Now you can see that my project piece is a little bit longer than the scrap, and that is okay because we are going to be tracing out the shape of this, and then we're going to cut out the shape. So what I'm going to do is I have laid this down on my paper, and all I'll be doing is I am going to use my pen just to trace my shape, not worrying about the sides. Then I'm going to fold that upward so I can trace that as well. And this is just a rough trace, guys. It doesn't have to be exact because we're going to go back and do some tweaking to it. So you can see here where I have this cut out. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take my ruler and starting at about 1/16 of an inch, I am going to cut inside of that score mark. And then I'm going to do the same thing here, about 1/16 of an inch. Same thing here, about 1/16 of an inch. Then I took my piece and just rolled it along my desk to try to straighten out some of that curl. So now I'm going to do the same thing right here. I am going to start coming in about 1/16 of an inch, going all the way across. So now I can bring my project piece back in, and we're just going to place this down to see how good our fit is. Now I can see that it fits at the top and on my angles, but I need to take off just a little bit more at the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's all that you need to do when you're doing your project this way. Since we're working with such a small piece, it's very easy to do the trace method so that you can get your placement. So now I will bring this back in. We are going to place it just like that. And now we have a very good fit. So I am going to go ahead and just lift up this tape. And so now we can take our inside liner piece and just place it down. And guys, I am standing for this because I want to make sure that I get really good placement. And so now I'm going to grab my big old spatula and just make sure I have everything nice and stuck. And now we have a beautiful polka dotted body, and we want to place it down on our base. So just like I did yesterday, I'm going to bring in my base. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a placement to make sure the front here doesn't extend over the front here when I have it placed down. And as you can see, it does not. So we're good on that. So what I'm going to do is bring in some more scrap polka dotted paper. And this scrap is 11 by 13. So what I'm going to do is remove the back from my 6 3/4 by 4 3/8 inch piece. And we're going to place that just like that. Then I'm going to take my piece that measures 4 3/8 by 3. And we're going to lift off the tape from the back. And I'm going to make sure that I place this down, giving myself enough spacing so that I can fold it without it hitting that front piece. And so now we're going to do exactly like we did yesterday. We're going to do a wraparound. So if you are working with 12 by 12 paper, then you'll need at least one piece of 12 by 12 for this part of the project. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do a wraparound and fold that so I will know how much of this I need to remove. So I am going to use this fold as my guide, and I'll use my ruler to just cut away that portion. Now I need to place some tape on this, and then I'll be right back. All right, guys, so now that we have our tape down, we are simply going to do some very gentle miter cuts. So here's my line here, and I'm pretty much going to follow across just like that, and I'll do my miter so that it looks like this, and that way I won't have any of that foam board showing through when I do this wraparound. So again, just going to that corner and angling in just a little bit. And so now I can lift my tape. And I'm going to take these end pieces and fold them first. And I'll fold that piece. And then I'll take my smaller piece and fold it over. Then I'm going to take that larger side. I've already placed some tape on it. And I'll take this piece and I'm just going to wrap it around all nice and tight. And so now I have my base. I'm just going to go around those edges and reinforce my little spine here. Now I can take this piece. We're going to add our glue to that base and we'll get it stuck just as we have it here. So I'm going to take my glue and just place glue on these glue flaps, being very generous because I don't want it coming undone. And then we'll get this stuck and we will almost be finished with this sweet little project. So now that we have our glue on the bottom, I am simply going to take this, and when we put it down, I'm putting it down so that I have my fronts hitting that score mark. So I'm going to place it down just like that. Then I'll open it by sliding that over. And so guys, when I slid it over, I got some glue on the inside. Don't worry about that because we're going to be putting down a reinforcement piece anyway, so you don't have to worry. And I'm going to use my ruler to go in and get that nice and stuck. So now that we have our base down, we're going to go ahead and add this piece, which measures 4 by 6.5. Again, you need to do your test fit to make sure that it's going to slide in very easily. Mine needs to be trimmed just a little bit, so I'll start by taking off. On this one, I'm going to take off about 1/8 of an inch. So I removed about 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to place it in to see if it fits. And I need to make sure that I can also lift that piece up. So I am going to take off just a little bit of this, not a whole lot. And so now I can take this piece. I'm going to place it on the inside to make sure that it fits, and it does. So start with a piece that measures 4 by 6.5, and then do your trimming after you have done the test fitting. So I am just adding some tape so that we can grab a scrap piece and we are going to get this stuck. So I am going to see if I have enough scrap left here, and I think I do, to be able to cover this. So I am just going to trim this out. And so now that I have this piece trimmed, I can stick it in just like that. Then I can fold up that front and we're done. So I am going to remove that tape from the back. And I'm going to place this in, and by placing this piece in, it now sandwiches these side pieces that I folded over, these glue flaps. It now holds them in place because we'll have them sandwiched between the bottom and this piece. So guys, it's not coming up. So now that we have that all nice and stuck, we can bring up our side, place our glue, just like this. Then I'm just going to bring that up like so. Hold it until it sticks. And y'all, we're done. So I'm gonna let this set until it sticks, and then I'll be right back. All right, guys, everything is dry enough for me to handle. And we now have an awesome, absolutely awesome 6 by 6 paper holder. Whether you're putting in 6 by 6 paper pads or 6x6 papers. This will hold them. So I am going to do exactly what I did to the larger one. I am going to take one of these little door knocker rings, and we're going to take this and just place it down. Again, super cute, super stylish, super posh. So let's give that a moment to dry, and then I will be back to wrap this up. How super cute and super easy was that process? And look at what we ended up with, y'all. Isn't this absolutely adorable? Don't you need it? Of course you do. And you know what else? You can do this. You can make this. You can make these for your craft room and turn it into your dream craft space that you wanted. Find your favorite papers, papers that make you oh so happy, and make these little cuties today. I'll say it again. You can do it. So y'all, I hope that you have liked this super cute 6x6 paper pad holder project. If you have, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join my online crafting family. You guys, be safe, be kind, happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.